My name is Carlos O'Neill, and I'm an Achieva Senior Commercial Relationship Manager. I've been with Achieva for about 5 months, but in the commercial lender industry, I've been doing this for about 18 years with my previous bank, which was Bank of America. So I've done it all. I've done it SBA, conventional loan, owner-occupied, equipment lending, anything that you could think of that needs any type of lending, I'm your man. Today our class is going to be focused on how to create a business plan for any customers out there that are looking to either start a business or expand their business and they're looking for some type of financing. I would say I have seen many different business plans that have come my way, and you're going to have your good ones and you're going to have your bad ones. The people that take their time, the people that really want this to work for them will take the time to make sure that this business plan is very powerful, not only for internal, but also for external. Because if you're really looking for any type of lending, you want to make sure that you put a lot of emphasis on your business plan. Because if you bring me a business plan that you just woke up one morning and started writing things, I mean, I'm not gonna be able to take a look at it and even present it to anybody that needs to see it. Researching and writing a business plan and the business plan components and financials, I think those are the top 3 components that I believe it will help you build up, a powerful business plan. Researching and writing the business plan. There's a lot of people out there, the entrepreneurs that, they are either tired of working for corporate America and they, want to be their own boss. This is some, good morning. This is some of the things that you want to make sure that your business plan has in writing. Talking about financials, what your cash flow will look like, profit and loss and balance sheet, your customer base, how you're going to run the business. Is it going to be a daily, you're going to be there every day, how many weeks of the month you're going to have it open, and how many months in the year your business is going to be operating. Competition, you want to know who your competitor is. You want to know, how you're going to differentiate, how your business is going to be different than the one next door or the one across the street. Operational is sustainable. Is your business, does the business have enough funding? Does your business have enough people for you to be able to sustain the business? And what is your future plans for the business? Basically, like I said, what is different that you're doing now or that you want to do for your business that is going to be different from what your competitor is? 2 versions of business plan. Internal will be the one that you will have for your staff member. You will have for your partners. You will have for whoever is internally dealing with the business. External will be something that, whenever you're looking for funding or investors, you want to make sure that is more robust than what an internal business plan is going to be. You got to know your audience. You got to be honest and don't underestimate and don't overestimate. I would say, you can never have enough of both of them. You could always shoot yourself short, or sometimes you could overestimate yourself. But at the end of the day, I would say neither one are bad in a way, because at the end of the day, if you overestimate yourself and what you're looking for, there's always going to be that extra that you could always put on the side. It is harder to be underestimate than overestimate. The reason why is that is because underestimate, to me, that means that, okay, you're looking to get let's say a loan, and you ask for $300,000. Once you start a project, it's pretty hard for us to be able to increase that amount because you underestimate yourself. But if it's something that you overestimate yourself, at least you have that room to play with, that if you don't utilize all the funds, of course, we're not going to give it to you, but we're going to give you what you need for you to be able to finish up your project. Oh yeah, this one is a good one. Avoid jargon. And I'll bring up the, this one basically is, you want to make sure that you use complete wording in your business plan. You don't want to, say, I live in FL. I mean, yeah, a lot of people is going to know what FL means, but when it comes to a business plan, you want to be able to specify everything in detail. Because, I mean, a lot of people do understand jargon, but that's not what they want to see on a business plan. They want to see the professionalism on it, and they want to see that you emphasize yourself and you put work into it. You don't want to have those shortcuts that you want to save the wording on your paper. Be direct to the point. Don't try to hide behind the bushes. Like it says, just spell things out. What makes you the best? This is, some of the components of the, business plan. The executive summary, the product and services, your market, the competition, operation management team, personal, financial data, and supporting documentation. And we're going to go into each individual one and explain what it really means. Executive summary. Basically, you want to be able to describe what you're trying to do. What's your company objective? Products and services that you're offering, your market, your customers, what is your competitive advantage, key management team, and financial funding requirement. All of this is basically telling you how you're going to be managing the business, who's going to be part of the business that is going to help you manage the business, what kind of education they have, what kind of background they have, who your customers are going to be, what market are you going to target. You're going to target 21 to 30, you're going to target 16 to 18, depending on what your product is. That's what you need to think about what your market is going to look like. If you're looking for financial funding and things like that, or if you already have investors, all of these items need to be included on that external business plan that you are forming. Next, please. Basically for, describing your business, for example, multimedia production, graphic design, computer networking, plumbing business, efficiency consulting. If you already have a business and you are looking to establish looking for any type of lending and that, you want to give us the history of your company, how you started the business, who was part of the business when you started the business, are you the only owner, how you managing the finances of the business, and things like that. So you basically want to give a little bit of history if your business has been already in existing on the business itself. It goes back to the same thing as you trying to acquire a business. How long have the business been in operation? Who operates the business? What things, what got you into, what got you into getting into this type of business? Yes.
Sorry, I was in 3 different locations.
What interests you into getting into type of business, and what kind of past experience you have on that type of industry. To me, business plans are usually more utilized when you are looking for funding. So you basically want to be able to tell your audience what kind of experience that you have. If you go to the gym every day, and I will give you an example. I had a client that was looking to open up a fitness center just because she loved going to the gym every day.
I know her.
So, when I explained to her, how we look at this item and, what does the business plan have to have, especially when we go into the SBA. This is a startup business with her. So the SBA is what we utilize at Achieva to help, clients start, with the startup funding. All she said to me is like, oh, I just love going to the gym. I said, yeah, I would love to say that too, but, I don't go to the gym as much as I want to. But, if I presented this business plan to the SBA, they're just going to come back to me and look at me like I have two heads. Because if the experience is not established on what you're looking to do, they just automatically going to let you know we can do it.
Can you
Yes.
expand on what SBA is?
Small Business Administration. The Small Business Administration is government funding loans that we assist clients on getting funding. There's many different programs that the Small Business Administration has, but the ones that we mostly utilize at the credit union is 504s and 7As. 504s are mostly utilized when you are looking to purchase a owner-occupied real estate property for the business, whether if it is not an investment, but whenever you're going to occupy at least 51% or more of the property itself. 7A is more for if you're trying to grow your business, if you're trying to start a business, or if you're looking for funding for operating capital for your business as well as equipment and things like that. They have their different type of length on what they give you for you to pay it back, but it is a easy process for you to get funding whenever you're starting a business. They also want to know how to describe your short-term goals, objective, and what are you hoping to achieve in the next few years. The one thing that I like to see is projections. Let me know what the business is going to be doing in the first 3 years. Because whenever we're getting any type of funding, we're not basing it on previous things of the business or how the business been operational previously. We always base it on what the projection is going to be in the next 3 years. So we want to make sure that you have the ability to be able to manage the business the way that it needs to manage. The business is going to grow and it's going to be making you money, not losing money. A lot of the clients do miss that part because they want to be rushing on the business plan and just try to get it in, because sometimes there is a time period that you have for you to be able to submit those documents to the SBA. And if not, they will just deny you and we will have to start the whole process all over again.
So from what I'm hearing with the projections, you're saying you want to see a goal for 3 years.
Correct.
And with that, I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, that the loans are mostly for 3 years.
No, it's not. The loan is not for 3 years, but the SBA wants to see the projections for the next 3 years.
Okay.
Depending on the type of loan that you want to get, it could be between 5 to 10, up to 25 years, depending on the type of product that it is. So this one basically is just, tell you about the product. Provide a clear and concise description of your product and services in layman terms. I would say yes, in a way, depending on who your audience is going to be. A technical guy that is building some type of software and all that. I don't want to see the 1, 2. No, you just tell me how your product is going to work, how your product is going to help the people that you're trying to sell the product to. So that's what basically when they said about layman, term, make me understand what is it that you are selling me. Because if I like it, I'm going to tell the next person, this is a good product, and that person is going to tell 2 other people. So your product, as long as your product, I understand your product, everybody else will be able to understand what you are trying to sell. Identify what stage of the concept is. Is it something that is a prototype? Is it something that you haven't put out to the market? Or is it something that is ready to go? You're just waiting for the funding for you to be able to push that out to the to the customers. Same thing with the bottom. Explain who your target audience. As I mentioned previously, you want to be able to explain who your audience is, who you want your customers to be. why this product is going to benefit, a Gen Z better than a Gen X. How is, that going to help the Gen Z by utilizing your product? So you basically want to make sure who you really want to target in this business plans, because at the end of the day, a lot of people, especially the older folks, don't want to get into the technology. It took my dad at least 10, 15 years to realize the cell phone exists. And now that he has a cell phone, he blocks everybody that he needs to block because he don't want to receive too many calls. But once he learned how to do that, and it's almost the same thing with my mother. She just got into Facebook. She started blasting a lot of different posting and things like that to me. My sister gave me a call. She's like, "Mom blocked me." I said, "Well, you know what? You got to respond whenever she's sending you the messages." So I did told her, I'm going to start responding to your messages so I don't fall in a blocking list of you that you currently have. It was just a joke that we had with her, because she learned herself how to do it, and now she was taking advantage of the whole situation. I said, you should become part of Facebook. They should be paying you for blocking people. So basically, you want to know, who your audience, who your customer is, what your target audience that you want to provide your services or your product to. If your business is an existing business, you wanna list who are your major clients. Now, when it comes to clientele, you want to make sure that you don't have a high concentration on one particular customer. Why is that? Because if that customer decides to wake up one day and say, "Hey, I don't want to do business with you. You're charging me too much. I got this new guy that came off the street. He's offering me the same product you are, and he's charging me less." You want to make sure that you diverse your clients. Nobody cannot have at least 50% or more of the concentration of the revenue that your business is bringing. You want to make sure it's diverse. So like that, if anybody leaves, at least the other ones will pick up the slack and cover whatever percentage the other person or the other client left you behind with. If it is a new client, basically, you just got to do your research about, who you want your clients to be, where you're going to find your clients, how you're going to find your clients, and how you're going to market your business. Basically, at the end of the day. Basically, this will just tell you how you're going to be different from your competitor. You want to make sure you have a persuasive statement of why and how your business will succeed. Brief explanation on your business competitor advantage and how your product services is better than what is currently in the market. I mean, there's no explanation that you need on that, because it's right there in there in black and white. Provide a brief description of management team, qualification, capability to start, run, and manage a successful business in your industry.
It's going to be a problem.
It's important, Cole. There you go. Basically, what this means is who's gonna be the key partners or the key management team in your team. You're gonna have your president. It's gonna be a one-man show. It's gonna be, you're gonna have a list of your presidents, vice presidents, secretary, and things like that. Who are gonna be the decision makers in your organization? What kind of experience do they have? What kind of education, their background, and all that? You want to make sure, a lot of people do like to do it with their families, because it's their family and they know that either they know it or they're going to learn it. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that the people that you get into business with is for you to grow your business or for you to make money on your business. This goes with the financial funding and requirement. You wanna have a a timeline and detail on how the funds are going to be utilized. Goes with the 3-year projection on the revenue or how the business is going to be operating or bringing money in the next 3 years. And if you have an exiting business, meaning are you thinking of staying with the business for the next 3 years? Are you thinking of selling the business in the next 3 years? Who's going to take over the business? Who's going to be the next person that is going to do what you do for the business, and how that person is going to just slide into the business? This one here. Why is your product and services better than the competitor? I'll tell you that in just a moment once it comes up. This is just different industries. What do we have here? So this goes with everything that we had spoken from the beginning. How do you project your business to do? What's the planning? How do you develop the business? How do you monitor what comes into the business, especially when you're having some type of software or some type of manufacturing business? How are you going to monitor? How are you going to test the product? Has the product been tested? Has the product worked? Does there any updates that you need to make? Any upgrades that you need to make for the product to be perfect? And basically, research and development is the biggest part before you could get a product out there. Your market, just give a description of what the market looks like, the niche, the band, market share, growth potential, market growth management, and pricing. Basically, this right here, is...
Are we going to get these slides?
Huh?
Are we going to get these slides?
Once you give me your email, I could send them to you. Yep. Basically, your marketing strategy. How are you going to market your business? What avenues are you going to take to get this, to get your business out there? So we have different platforms. You have TV, radio, print flyers, websites, direct mail, trade shows, public relations, promotional material, telephone sales, one-on-one sales, strategic alliances, and networking, like we are right now. Basically, these are some of the ways that your business could be out there, depending on how you utilize technology. I would say networking event. I would say it's the old school. But your phone, your laptop, depending on how you utilize social media, it's how you're gonna. It's one of the biggest things that people are currently utilizing to market business. Depending if you are very savvy on marketing, I mean, every day you could be posting something every hour on the hour for the business. She's saying no. But there is a way that you could actually set your, let's say your Facebook, I would say, that you want to make some postings into it. There is a way that you, and don't ask me how, because...
You can ask me.
I
know how to do it.
So that you could set it up that...
Yeah, you can schedule it.
There you go, so she already knows. Let me see. So this one is just basically come down to who your competitors are. Where they at, what revenue have they had, how long have they been established, the market, what market share, what's the market base, and similarities and differences on the product that you're going to be offering. Basically, to me, that is very important because you want to make sure who your competitors are. You want to make sure how long have they been in business? Have they been offering the same product for the amount of years that they've been in business? Are they going to come up with a new product? Is the product going to be better than what you are giving them or that you're planning to, release to the customer? What is it that, it's going to differentiate you from your competitors? What market share do you want to be able to acquire once your product is out there? How are you going to manage to get there? What you're going to utilize to get there? All those things, it seems a lot, on my presentation and all that, but once you start putting your business plan together, everything is going to fall into place. Research and development, purchasing, staffing, equipment, and facility. This is basically fall under your operations. Background of the principal, like as I mentioned before, this is all going to who's going to be your key management team in your group. What are their duties? What are their responsibility? Industry experience. What kind of salary and benefits you're going to offer, and the resources. Basically, comes back to your principals in the business. What's their past experience? What's their, how they be successful? What their responsibility is going to be, and how capable are they going to be able to assist you moving forward. Personal data, current and past, I don't know what the address is there for. Interests, education, and special abilities, reason for entering in the business, and what their personal finances is also going to be. Now, remember, regardless of the type of business and what the revenue and industry of the business is, you always want to keep in mind that you as the owner or whoever is involved in the business, your personal credit will also be looked at. Mm-hmm. Because you're going to be the personal guarantor to that business. The only way that I've seen in the 18 years that I worked with Bank of America about a business sustaining itself and be corporate guarantee is if the business is in the 30 millions and up. Anything below that, any bank that you go to, they will need a personal guarantee, unless you are a nonprofit. Because, no one owns a nonprofit. No one owns a nonprofit, so they don't need to have any type of personal guarantor. The business itself is going to sustain that, yes.
I had a friend of mine tell me that has a lot of experience in this. He said that personal financial statement and your sales and marketing plan are the most heavily weighted
yes.
Items.
Yes.
From his perspective.
Yes.
From a loan and from a business financial banking perspective.
The reason why is that is because there's three ways that you could pay a loan. The first one will be the cash that you have in the business. Second one will be what kind of collateral you have in the business. And the third one is going to be your personal collateral. Do you own a home? What kind of stocks you have? What money did you have? And all that. So yes, it does play a very high key on any type of loan, for the simple fact that that's going to be the third and final option that we're going to do to try to, get our money back at the end of the day, I would say. Direct operational, direct management, and direct managerial. I think I spoke a lot of, the team that you're going to have. And this basically falls it into the salaries and benefits. It takes a while. To me personally, for what I've seen, and I was a small business owner myself, it takes about a year to 2 years for you to start seeing the actual money coming into the business, depending on your industry. So this is some of the things that you want to be able to think about whenever you are offering this. Am I going to take a pay from the business, or am I going to take a draw out of the business? So it'll depend. A lot of clients, what they do, they usually like to run everything through their business. If they have a home-based business, they're going to pay their mortgage, they're going to pay their car, they're going to pay whatever they could think under the sun out of their business. At the end of the day, depending on what the revenue looks for, what's left after all the deductions were done, then at that point in time, they have the option to either take a draw or just leave it into the business. Especially when it comes to a S corporation, Whenever you file your taxes, everything is done under you personally because you are S corporation. Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting when I hear that, about the bills and people doing that, because you want to maintain that fall off, between your
Yep.
personal
You
and
want to keep it separate.
separate, right? So I don't know, it seems to me like there's a,
For some reason, they found the loop on how to do that.
yeah,
And so far, they haven't gotten caught, and it's working for them. But then at the end of the year, they want to take this big chunk out of the business that it's going to be crippling the business and leaving, you living a lavish life because you paying everything out of the business, and whatever you get at the end of the year is for you to take a 10 weeks vacation somewhere in the ocean. But then when it comes to lending, I'm not saying that it's bad not to take a draw out of your business because you have worked the whole year for it, but taking consideration that when it comes time for you to be looking for some type of lending, two things we want to see. We want to see that you're paying yourself out of the business, regardless if it is payroll or if it is a distribution, and also you leaving money. You are not taking advantage of the business itself and leaving the business dry.
well, you're looking for a pull.
Correct.
You're looking for that.
Correct.
Payroll or however you.
That is correct. Because remember, your personal financial and your personal self also have to show that regardless of what happened to the business, you still got to have something to pay that debt back. And a lot of CPAs do tell the customers not to take money out of the business. I don't know why they tell them that. The CPAs, I don't know why they tell them not to be an employee for the business, basically.
Oh, to do a draw instead of a payout?
Correct. Well, no, not to do the draw, but not to pay themselves a salary out of the business. What? At all.
Tax.
Right, because why? I don't understand why they do it.
Tax is higher than if you make a one-time payment as a shareholder.
It is, but then at the end of the day, whenever you're looking for funding, then there's nothing to show.
But so, the reason is because of tax. Tax evasion.
And then when I come back and try to explain that to the client, then they look at me like I have two heads. Like, why are you telling me this and my CPA is telling me that? And I said,
Because you're both correct.
yeah. I said, the only thing that I could tell you is go back to your CPA and have him give you a reason or try to explain to you why he had you doing it this way compared to this way. So basically, this is just going to tell you, what each position is going to be payout. Are you going to be offering any type of benefits? And, if you're going to be offering any type of bonuses at the end of the year, or quarterly, or every 6 months, depending on if it is a sales job or if it is a, manufacturing business and things like that. Resources that you could, utilize to help you build up this business plan: attorneys, accounting, myself, bankers, consultants, insurance agents, the website, Small Business Administration, Chamber of Commerce, local learning institute, federal, state, and local agency. This is some of the resources that you could utilize. You basically don't have to go to them face to face. You could find everything and anything online. That you could do some research on what you need to do to be able to help you build that powerful business plan. Let me see. Basically, this right here is just showing what the current needs of the business is. Are you looking to expand? What's the skill set, job description? This is basically just recruiting your staff. Who you're going to look for, who you're going to go after. Are you looking to have college students working in your business? Are you looking to have professionals with degrees working in your business? What kind of benefit, wages, overtime, are you going to offer any of that to whoever your staff are? Financial, debit, credit. This is just a little bit of talking about the financial statements, but there's going to be another class later on down the line that is going to get into more details on the financial statement. So basically, it's just a little bit of breakdown of what each individual statement define. Your balance sheet basically defines your assets, what your liability and the owner equity. Income statement is basically tell you the revenue and the expenses of the business. Then you have the cash flow and the breakdown of break-even analysis. This is one of the, I would say, important factors whenever you're looking to get any funding, because this paint a story depending on the stage or the period of the business. This tells you, tells us as banker a lot, and you as the owner of the business, on how your business has been operating. Is it making money? Is it losing money? You need to cut here, you need to cut there, or do you need to continue doing what you're doing, or what can you improve? Funding and supporting documentations. Part of the documentations that you're going to need whenever you're looking for any type of funding, depending on the type of credit or the type of loan that you're looking for, is basically, as you can see here, we're going to take a look at your credit information, what your credit looks like, how have you managed your own personal credit, are you going to manage your personal credit the same way, for the business, or is it going to be different? A little bit of story. I had this demolition/construction company that were looking to do a couple of things for the business. Big company, $10 million in gross revenue, yearly, growing every year. Everything looks beautiful. Business cash flow, just the business itself cash flow. I didn't even need to include the owner's compensation to make the deal strong. They have a lot of equipment. They have a lot. They really, really are managing their business the way that they need it. They need to manage it. As soon as I put the owner's credit, kill the whole deal.
Even with all those resources?
Even with all the resources that he had, kill the whole deal. Because if it's something that happened to you 2-3 years ago, you could give us an explanation on what happened at that period. Was it because of COVID? Was it because you lost your job? Or was it because the business wasn't bringing enough revenue that you weren't taking any salary out of the business? But if it's something that happened 2, 3, 4 months ago, and your business is making the money, why are you letting your credit go to that point? Okay, a credit score, it's, you could have all the money in the world, but as you guys know, this country, if you don't have no credit or good credit, a lot of things may happen. So, I had to break the news to him. We worked for about 2 months collecting documents, doing all the research.
That's a lot of money.
What about
that?
What about a higher interest loan for a person?
Your credit is very, very important when it comes to things like this. Because that tells a character about yourself, how you manage your finance, how you manage your credit. Are we gonna get paid back, regardless of what it is? If we put a lien on all your assets and everything like that, that could take months before that could happen. But your credit is what tell you who you are at the end of the day. Oh, trying to go back. Okay, so this one basically it tells you your project. If you're looking to start up a new business, or if you're looking to build a building for your business, the SBA wants to see what the project is going to cost. Have you been working with a general contractor? What kind of equipment they're going to use? What is it that you need for this project to be complete? So all of this, some of this stuff, you'll be able to get it from your general contractor on what the project is going to cost. At least if it is an estimate, we could start working on that. Demographic, legal documents, letter of intent. This goes to if you're looking to or purchase an already existing business and you guys have you and the buyer, the seller and the buyer haven't done anything to do a contract, but you have provided them a letter of intent that you are intending to purchase the business. I mean, not the business, either the business or the building, but you guys are still in negotiation on how much is that going to cost you. Once you guys get into that negotiation, then the letter of intent goes away and the purchase contract comes into mind. Any references that you may have? Are you looking to lease or buy, and it goes back down to the buyer or the sales agreement.